Hey guys, Jose here from 3 Pillar Self-Defense. Today I wanted to do a different video. Today I'm not going to be doing a fitness or self-defense or boxing video. I'm actually just going to be sharing a story with you guys about how I got started with my fitness journey and how I started training in self-defense. So I was living in an area at a time called San Ramon. It was this fairly nice neighborhood, quiet, a lot of trails for running, a lot of outdoor activities. And it was my senior year of high school. I was dating a girl at the time, and on this day we decided to go out on a little bit of a walk. Behind my house in San Ramon there was a golf course, and there was a trail that ran across there that was called the Iron Horse Trail. And this trail went on for miles, cut through several different parts of the town, and into neighboring towns as well. And this is a trail that, I would walk on all the time, ride my bike, run, whatever. There's always some people out there. And this time we decided to go a different direction. So I was walking with my girlfriend at the time. Instead of hanging a left, I hung a right. And after I got over this little bridge, I noticed that there was two younger individuals, probably about high school age, that were off to the side, and they were getting questioned by a police officer. Three guys were walking the opposite direction that my girlfriend and I were walking, and I remember as we walked past these guys, they started mouthing off and saying something to us, but I ignored it and just kept walking. And I got curious. I was like, oh, let's go see what's going on. Let's see if we can pick up on, why this officer had stopped these two guys. So I was kind of trying to listen in and couldn't really catch anything. So my girlfriend and I just kept walking. It was about 5:30 at this time, and starting, like, the sun, well, it was starting to get a little bit darker. And so we decided to turn around. Turned around, and by this time the officer had let these guys go. And so the two guys that were originally getting questioned by the police officer, they hopped on their bikes, rode the same direction that we were walking, and my girlfriend and I got into a conversation at that time. I don't remember exactly what we were talking about, but I do remember that one of the things that I said, if we were to get into some confrontation with these guys, I was like, I'd probably be able to take one or two, but definitely not all five. Kept walking, went over the same bridge that we had walked over earlier, and I noticed the guys were on my left-hand side, and they were all in a circle. They had hoodies on. They had thrown their hoodies on. They were starting to tie the little strings on their hood and just tighten them up. And I had a feeling already at that time that something was going to happen, that situation wasn't looking good. So I had my girlfriend standing on my right side. I was holding her hand, and as I started walking past these guys, one of the guys started backing up, and he was asking me if I had any money. I had told him, no, I don't have any money, and I kept walking, and he kept backing up and getting closer to me, and he's like, come on, man, I know you got money. Like, empty out your pockets. And I told him, I said, man, I told you I don't have anything. And I think it was after the third time he had asked me, I got frustrated, so I pushed him. The mistake that I made was that I pushed him and then I gave my back towards him. So as I turned around, all I see is this fist coming at me, and boom, clocks me right in the face. I've been hit a lot of times in the face before. That was not one of the strongest punches, but it was bare knuckle, so it kind of hurt. And I just remember that all of a sudden that there's five guys around, and I just froze. I had no self-defense training or anything like that, so I froze in the moment, and I started panicking and stumbling over my words and saying, man, I don't have any money, I'm just trying to get home, just leave me alone. And the whole time, this guy, the guy who had hit me, he had his hand in his shirt. I had no idea what he had. I don't know if he had a gun, if he had a knife, I don't know what he was concealing, but I just said, man, I don't want any problems. I'm just trying to get home. Leave me alone. And the guy was just insisting that I give him my money. I was like, all right, fine. You want my money? Sure. I'll give it to you then. So I grabbed my wallet, handed it over to him. And as I extended my hand out, he pulled his hand out, and he had a broken arm. So he had a cast. He had a purple cast. He picked purple out of every color he could have chosen. And he swung, and he hit me on the other side of the face with a cast. If you've ever been hit by a cast, it hurts a lot. So I was a little dazed by that hit. And his buddies kind of started closing in on me. Now, here was the cool part of the story is instead of the police officer the police officer could have turned around and gone over to the main road and went back to work. For whatever reason, he flipped a U-turn and went the same direction as this whole situation was occurring with me. And so I see the officer in the distance driving over the bridge. I start waving my hands, trying to flag him down. And three guys ran over towards the park. The two guys on the bike plus another guy, and then two guys ran over towards the parking lot. So officer shows up. I try to give the officer the best description of the guys. I really couldn't get too good of a description. I just know that the guy that had hit me, he had a black hoodie, he had blue jeans, and he had a purple cast. And I tried to explain to the officer that they were the same 5 guys that they just talked to like just a few minutes back. So we made our way over towards the parking lot, lined up right outside of a store, and by this point, some more police officers came, and it was like a red curb, and it was just filled with different police officers. So I remember just trying to describe to the officer, like, all right, this is all the information I can give you. I really couldn't get too good of a picture of him because he had his hood on and he tied his hood. And we see a guy walking, I remember how many feet away, about 100 feet away, walking in front of us with his hands in his shirt. This guy didn't have a sweatshirt, he just had his hands in his shirt. The officer asked me if he was the guy. I said, I don't know. And the officer asked the guy to take his hands out of his shirt. So he took his hands out, saw the purple cast, and I was like, that's your guy. So long story short, police officer arrested him. They took this guy over to juvenile hall. They questioned him and made him talk, and he basically just told the police officers who else was involved. Turns out that this guy, one of the 5 guys, did have a weapon. It had, I think, like a box cutter or something like that. Thankfully, none of them pulled it out as this whole situation happened. But this guy had run into a Blockbuster back when they were still around, and he took off his sweatshirt and then he walked out. And the time that he walked out, that's when we saw him walking in front of us. I was pretty traumatized by this whole situation. It was just something like I couldn't eat that day. Couldn't really function. It was just like a horrible feeling. I don't know if you've ever been assaulted or a victim, of a robbery. It's a really crappy feeling. So I was scared to walk outside. If I saw any people that looked a little sketchy to me, I'd immediately cross the street, and so it messed me up. I started taking kickboxing lessons from my dad. My dad had a kickboxing background, so he started giving me some lessons. And from there, started boxing, got into Krav Maga afterwards, and then currently right now doing jiu-jitsu. I hope that the story, I hope that you can relate to it. Maybe you haven't been robbed, maybe you haven't been assaulted or bullied. And if you haven't, that's great. But I think overall, some of the key lessons that I take away from fitness, from self-defense, is I feel better just as a person. I feel more comfortable when I'm talking to people. I feel more alert when I'm traveling, when just in normal day-to-day conversations, I'm watching people's hands. I'm trying to notice if they're doing anything abnormal, if they have any weapons on them. It's not, I wouldn't, classify it as being paranoid. That's not what it is. It's just being alert. It's being aware of your surroundings. You're having that situational awareness of the things that are around you. And I just think that having self-defense training, it's something good to have if you ever need to use it. If you never have to use it, that's great. But if you ever have to use it, at least you have it. It's better to have it than if you need it and you don't have, you don't have it. You don't have those tools. So I hope that this story is an encouragement to you guys. I hope that there's something that you can relate to that I said. And if you are thinking about self-defense, I hope that this is just a little extra push for you guys. But regardless, I thank you guys for stopping by and listening. I know that this may have dragged on a little bit long, but hope you guys enjoyed it, and hope you guys have a great day. Thanks for watching.